What if everything you believed about getting old was wrong? Sam Harris's eyes were glued to the bumper in front of him as the afternoon sun beat down on the highway, turning the asphalt into a ribbon of shimmering heat. The traffic was a crawl, and every minute felt like a lifetime. At 68, Sam was no stranger to feeling invisible, like a ghost fading out of the world, replaced by younger, faster, more connected versions of himself. He gripped the steering wheel of his aging sedan with tired hands, his mind wandering to a place he rarely let himself visit, the sharp ache of loneliness. His kids hadn't called in weeks, the silence from his daughter Martha weighed heavier than the miles he was stuck in, and the dreams he'd once held tightly now felt like distant stars flickering out. As he sat there in the suffocating gridlock, a sleek silver Tesla glided past in the next lane, its driver not even touching the wheel, eyes glued to a screen, fingers flying over a game controller. The car was doing the driving, letting the man inside play, live, and exist beyond the confines of traffic. The moment struck Sam like a lightning bolt. He fumbled for his phone and saw a viral clip circulating on social media, a live stream of Elon Musk unveiling the new Tesla feature that lets drivers game while the car drives itself. Elon's voice was unmistakable, bold, fearless, almost rebellious. Age is not a barrier to innovation, Elon declared, it's a license to think differently, to push harder. The word settled deep in Sam's chest, igniting a spark he hadn't felt in years. Was it possible, he wondered, that he wasn't too old to change? Too old to dream again? The highway around him seemed to blur as a question took hold. What if everything I believed about getting old was wrong? Could it be that this moment, the moment of frustration, isolation, and doubt, was actually the start of something new? Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Sam's thoughts drifted back to the early days, long before the weight of years had settled so heavily. Back when he and his wife, now gone, had dreams of freedom, building motorcycles, traveling the country, living without the chains of routine. He remembered the small garage behind their house where they'd tinker on engines and tell stories late into the night. Those were the days when time felt endless, and the future was a wide-open road. But decades passed, the garage gathered dust, and so did those dreams. Now, the house was quieter, the walls thinner to echoes of regret. Sam's hands trembled slightly as he looked back at the Tesla zooming effortlessly ahead, its driver carefree, defying the traffic, and maybe, Sam thought, defying the very idea of aging. His phone buzzed with a notification, a message from an Elon Musk interview titled, "Never Too Late to Innovate." He clicked play. Elon's voice filled the cramped space of the car, the enthusiasm contagious. Innovation isn't about age, Elon said, it's about mindset. It's about refusing to accept limits. The words felt like a challenge. Sam swallowed hard, the old doubts creeping in alongside the hope. Was he really ready to believe that change was still possible? That he could reclaim some part of himself, the part that felt lost? The stop-and-go traffic ground on, but Sam felt the stirrings of something new, a faint glow in the darkness of his routine. The Tesla, the game, Elon's vision, they weren't just flashes of the future, they were beacons calling him forward. And for the first time in a long time, Sam felt a flicker of excitement, a tentative thrill that maybe, just maybe, this was the moment it all changed. Sam Harris's life before this moment of flickering hope was a quiet unraveling of everything he once believed made him matter. At 68, he wasn't just grappling with the creaks and groans of an aging body, he was wrestling with the deep, gnawing sense that time had passed him by. His house sat on the edge of a small Midwest town, a place where everyone knew your name but few cared to know your story. The paint on the porch peeled in long, sun-bleached strips, and the mailbox leaned slightly, forgotten like so many things in his life. The house, once filled with laughter and warmth, now echoed with silence so thick it was almost a presence itself. Sam spent most days in that silence, moving through routines that felt like slow-motion repetitions of a life-long past. The factory where he'd worked for 35 years closed its doors a decade ago, and with it, so did his sense of purpose. He wasn't just retired, he felt retired from relevance. The skills he'd honed, the years of sweat and grit, all seemed useless in a world that raced ahead with new gadgets and new ideas, leaving men like him behind in the dust. He thought often about his late wife, Linda. She'd been the light in his life, the voice that kept him grounded when the world felt overwhelming. Her death 3 years ago was a blow that cracked open the fragile shell of his daily existence. Without her, the house felt colder, the days longer. He remembered the last conversation they had, sitting on that same porch, her hand in his, telling him he was meant for more than just surviving. But surviving was all he seemed to do now. His children, Martha and Josh, had their own lives, scattered across the country. Calls were rare, visits rarer. The few times they came back, the conversations were strained, filled with polite distance. Sam couldn't blame them, he had spent too long buried under his own regrets. One regret loomed larger than the rest, his dream to build a custom motorcycle. It was a passion he never acted on, buried under the weight of bills, work, and family obligations. The garage where he'd imagined turning metal and oil into something beautiful sat dusty, cobwebbed, a shrine to a dream deferred. He could still picture the blueprint sketched on a yellowed notebook, the curve of the frame, the roar of the engine he never built. The ache of that lost dream throbbed quietly in his chest, a reminder of time wasted and chances not taken. Loneliness wrapped around Sam like a heavy blanket. His days were marked by the occasional phone call from a neighbor or a brief visit to the grocery store, but mostly, he was alone with his thoughts. The silence was sometimes a comfort, sometimes a cage. The town was shrinking, young people leaving for bigger cities, the slow erosion of small-town America mirrored in his own fading presence. He felt like a ghost, watching life happen through a window, unable to step outside and join in. Sam's body was betraying him too. The once strong hands that built, fixed, and created were now stiff and slow. Aches and pains came uninvited, reminders that time was not on his side. His doctor's visits were filled with warnings to slow down, to be careful, to accept the inevitable decline. But inside, Sam wrestled with a stubborn defiance. He wasn't ready to fade away quietly. Memories of better times floated through his mind like fragile glass. He remembered the way Linda's laughter filled the kitchen on Saturday mornings, the smell of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon. He recalled the family road trips, the camping under stars so bright they felt like a blessing. And he thought of Martha when she was young, a bright girl with dreams and fire, before distance and silence grew between them. Those memories were bittersweet, a mix of warmth and pain. Sam realized that the person he was before, the man who dreamed, who dared, who believed in possibility, had been buried beneath years of regret and loss. He was a shadow of that man, and it scared him. Yet the spark he saw in the Tesla driving by had stirred something inside him, something fragile but real. Could he reach back to that person? Could he reclaim even a sliver of that hope? His thoughts drifted to Elon Musk, an icon of fearlessness, a man who refused to let limits define him. Elon wasn't just a tech genius, he was a symbol of radical possibility, a beacon for those who felt stuck in their own lives. Sam admired how Elon pushed boundaries, ignored skeptics, and dared to dream big, even when the world told him no. But more than admiration, Elon represented something Sam had lost, belief in the power to change, no matter the odds or age. One afternoon, as Sam sat in the dim light of his living room, he pulled out an old photo album. The pages were worn, filled with pictures of a younger Sam and Linda, children playing, holidays, milestones. He lingered on a picture of himself standing next to a shiny motorcycle at a county fair, the pride in his eyes undeniable. The photo was a reminder of a life that once felt full of promise. That night, sleep came slowly. His mind raced with questions. Was it too late to start again? Did anyone care? Was there still a point to pushing forward? He thought about the Tesla and Elon Musk's words echoing in his mind. Never too old to innovate. The phrase felt like a lifeline. He wasn't ready to give up. Sam made a quiet vow to himself, a promise to try, to reach out, to fight against the tide of invisibility that threatened to swallow him whole. The path ahead was uncertain, and the shadows of doubt loomed large, but the smallest ember of hope burned steadily. It was the beginning of a journey, one that would challenge everything he thought he knew about aging, about himself, and about what it meant to truly live. Sam's days quickly became a battlefield in his own mind. The warm glow of hope sparked by Elon Musk's words and the Tesla video clashed relentlessly with the cold weight of reality pressing down on him. Each morning, as he sat at his kitchen table sipping coffee from a chipped mug, the same questions haunted him: is it too late? Does anyone care? What's the point? The answers were never easy, and often, they felt like a noose tightening around his spirit. His daughter Martha's voice echoed in his head from their last phone call, filled with a mix of concern and impatience. "Dad, why are you wasting your time with all this newfangled stuff? You should just slow down, take it easy." The words stung more than he wanted to admit. Martha's skepticism was a mirror of his own fears, the voices of a society that expected men like him to fade quietly into the background. The doctor's advice was no different. "Sam, your heart is showing signs of strain. You need to slow down, avoid stress, and accept that your body can't keep up the pace anymore." It was a prescription for retreat, for surrender. Yet inside, Sam's heart beat with a stubborn defiance. The Tesla clip haunted his thoughts. Elon Musk wasn't just launching cars and rockets, he was rewriting the rules about what was possible, regardless of age or circumstance. That quote kept circling: never too old to innovate. Was Elon really serious? Was it possible that a man twice Sam's age could still be a pioneer, a disruptor? And if Elon could, why couldn't Sam find a way to ignite his own comeback? The internal war raged fiercely. Every hopeful thought was met with doubt. Every small desire to act was drowned by memories of failure and loss. The silence of his empty house screamed louder than any encouragement. Sam felt the isolation of his generation keenly, forgotten by the digital revolution, dismissed by younger family members, and largely invisible to a world obsessed with youth and speed. One afternoon, scrolling through his phone, Sam stumbled on a podcast episode titled "Elon Musk on Aging and Reinvention." Elon spoke candidly about the setbacks he faced, the ridicule, the near bankruptcies, and the relentless pressure to give up. "The only way to move forward," Elon said, "is to keep your mind open, embrace failure, and see every ending as a new beginning." Those words struck a chord deeper than Sam expected. He realized his greatest enemy wasn't his body or the years that weighed on him, it was the belief that it was too late. That he was no longer relevant. That his best days were behind him. Elon was challenging that narrative. Yet the outside world was not so forgiving. His neighbor, an old friend named George, laughed when Sam mentioned the Tesla feature. "Sam, you're dreaming. That stuff's for kids and tech geeks, not us old-timers." Even the local diner's regulars shook their heads when Sam spoke of wanting to try something new, something bold. The weight of skepticism was a constant shadow. The climax of this internal war came unexpectedly. One morning, Sam's old sedan broke down on the way to the grocery store. The engine sputtered, coughed, and then died entirely. Standing by the side of the road, staring at the smoke curling from the hood, Sam felt a wave of despair crash over him. It was a sign, he thought, proof that he was stuck, broken, obsolete. But then, a text popped up on his phone. It was from Martha. "Saw that video you shared. Proud of you for trying something new." It was brief, tentative, but it shattered the silence between them. For a moment, Sam felt the weight lift. Maybe, just maybe, someone still cared. That small glimmer of hope was quickly tested when his doctor called with a warning about his heart. "Sam, you have to be realistic. Pushing too hard could be dangerous." The tension between hope and caution was palpable. He wanted to move forward but felt shackled by fear and doubt. The internal war had no clear winner yet. But Elon's presence lingered like a beacon, a reminder that the path forward was never easy, but always possible for those who dared. Sam found himself standing at a crossroads. One path beckoned him to retreat into the familiar, to accept invisibility and decline. The other challenged him to take a risk, to embrace uncertainty, and to fight for a new chapter. The war inside him was far from over, but for the first time, the spark of rebellion against age and limitation had caught fire. Sam knew the journey ahead would test him like never before. But he was ready to listen to that small, persistent voice whispering, "You're not done yet." The decision wasn't dramatic. There was no grand announcement or sudden epiphany. It was a quiet moment, a flicker of courage born out of countless restless nights and lingering doubts. Sam Harris sat in his worn recliner, the afternoon light spilling through the dusty curtains, and pulled up the Tesla website. He had hesitated for weeks, weighed down by the practicalities and fears. Could he really afford it? Could he learn to use this new technology? Was this just another foolish attempt to chase a dream that was long dead? But Elon Musk's voice echoed in his mind, "Innovation isn't about age. It's about mindset." That phrase, simple yet profound, was the catalyst. Sam clicked "Order" on a used Tesla Model 3 with the new self-driving gaming feature. The purchase was a small rebellion against the narrative that aging meant giving up, a statement to himself that he was still capable of change. The weeks that followed were filled with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. The Tesla arrived on a cool spring morning, its sleek silver body gleaming in the driveway. Sam ran his hand along the smooth curves, feeling the hum of potential beneath the surface. But the learning curve was steep. The touchscreen, autopilot system, and especially the gaming interface felt like an alien language. He wrestled with the manual, asked hesitant questions at the dealership, and stumbled through software updates. There were moments of frustration, buttons that didn't respond, features he couldn't figure out, and the nagging fear that he was out of his depth. Yet with every challenge, Sam felt a spark reignite. He was learning. He was adapting. On the first day he dared to take the Tesla out on the road alone, his heart pounded with a mix of fear and thrill. He activated the autopilot and hesitated as the car took control. The steering wheel twitched under his hands, but the vehicle steered smoothly through traffic. Then came the gaming interface. Sam picked up the controller, fingers trembling as he launched the game. The highway blurred past as he immersed himself in the digital world, a grin spreading across his face for the first time in years. It wasn't just about gaming, it was about reclaiming a sense of freedom and agency. The autopilot and games were a metaphor, a way to step outside the confines of his aging body and mundane routine. The small choice to embrace this technology became a turning point. Each day after work, or more accurately, after retirement, Sam began taking the Tesla out for short drives, playing games while the car drove itself. The experience was unlike anything he'd known, an intersection of past passions for speed and control with a new world of possibility. With every mile, the weight of invisibility lifted a little. The neighborhood kids who once ignored him now paused to wave, curious about the shiny car and the man behind the wheel. Sam's confidence grew, and with it, a quiet determination to push further. The change wasn't just external. Inside, Sam felt the stirrings of hope and purpose. The frustration and fear were still there, but they were no longer the loudest voices. The Tesla and its features became his companion in a journey of rediscovery. He started to think about the motorcycle he'd never built, the dreams that once seemed so distant now flickering back to life. This small choice, buying the Tesla, learning to game while it drove, was the first step on a path he wasn't sure where it would lead, but he was ready to follow. And as he navigated the roads with newfound joy, Sam knew that Elon Musk's boldness had sparked something in him, a refusal to be defined by age or circumstance, a belief that the next chapter was still unwritten. Sam never expected that his quiet rebellion with the Tesla would ripple beyond his own small world, but one late afternoon, it did. He was parked at a local coffee shop, the Tesla's self-driving mode engaged as he sipped on his black coffee, fingers tapping the game controller absent-mindedly. The seat's comfort, the gentle hum of the car, and the freedom to be present in a way he hadn't felt in years filled him with an unfamiliar peace. Then, a woman approached, phone in hand. "Excuse me, are you Sam Harris? I saw your story online." Sam blinked, the surprise washing over him like a sudden summer storm. "Yes, that's me." The woman smiled. "I'm Jenna, a reporter for the regional news. Your video about learning to game while the car drives itself went viral. People are inspired. You're showing that it's never too late to try something new." Sam laughed, a mix of disbelief and pride swelling in his chest. He never intended to be a symbol, he just wanted to prove to himself that he still mattered. But that moment, standing beside his Tesla with a stranger's admiration, was a turning point. Word spread quickly. Local news stations picked up his story, highlighting a 68-year-old man embracing cutting-edge technology, defying stereotypes of aging. Calls came from distant relatives, old friends, and even his children. Martha, surprised and moved, reached out after years of silence. Their conversation was tentative at first, but slowly, the walls between them began to crumble. Sam's story was no longer just his, it was a beacon for others feeling left behind. The emotional breakthrough wasn't without vulnerability. Sam shared his regrets openly, the dreams he shelved, the wife he lost, the distance from his kids. Tears welled as he spoke at a community event, his voice steady but raw. "I thought my time was over," he told the crowd, "but it was just waiting for a spark. Maybe Elon Musk's Tesla was that spark, but the fire came from inside me." Finishing a long-forgotten motorcycle project became his next challenge. In the garage that once gathered dust, Sam worked tirelessly, every bolt tightened a testament to his reclaimed purpose. The bike took shape not just as metal and rubber, but as a symbol of breaking through the barriers of age and doubt. The process wasn't easy. There were setbacks, moments when the pain in his hands reminded him of his limits, and times when loneliness threatened to pull him back. Yet with every small victory, Sam's resolve deepened. The local community rallied behind him, offering parts, advice, and encouragement. He was no longer invisible. He had become a living story of resilience and transformation. One crisp morning, as the motorcycle roared to life after decades of silence, Sam felt a surge of triumph and peace. It wasn't just about the machine, it was about reclaiming a legacy. The bike, the Tesla, the renewed relationship with his children, they were threads weaving a new tapestry of hope. Sam reflected quietly one evening, the city lights twinkling through the window. "I was never too old," he whispered to himself. "I was just waiting for permission to matter again." The emotional breakthrough wasn't just personal, it was universal. It showed that aging wasn't a full stop, but a comma, a pause before the next chapter. Elon Musk's spark had ignited a fire, but Sam's courage kept it burning bright. The victory was both tender and powerful, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to break through barriers, reclaim purpose, and inspire others along the way. Sam sat in his favorite chair by the window, the evening sun casting long golden streaks across the worn wooden floor. The house smelled faintly of oil and leather, the subtle scent of the motorcycle project that now filled the garage with life and purpose. He sipped slowly from his coffee mug, the warmth a quiet comfort after a day full of activity and small victories. The man who had once felt invisible and forgotten now looked out at a neighborhood that recognized him, at a life rediscovered and reshaped. The journey that began with a simple choice, to trust a Tesla to drive itself while he played games, had transformed into something far greater than he ever imagined. Sam's reflection was not just about his personal triumphs but about the legacy he was building in the twilight of his years. For decades, he'd believed that growing old meant slowing down, fading away, and accepting a diminished role in the world. But now he understood something different. Aging wasn't a decline but a chance to redefine purpose, to rewrite what it meant to matter. The ripple effect of his story surprised him. His children, Martha and Josh, once distant and cautious, now visited more often. Their conversations carried new warmth, built on shared memories and fresh understanding. Martha had even expressed interest in learning more about the motorcycle project, sparking a connection that felt like a long-awaited gift. The small-town community embraced him not as a relic of the past but as a symbol of resilience and possibility. Sam was invited to speak at local events, sharing his journey with others who felt stuck or forgotten. His message was clear: it's never too late to change, to dream, to act. This new legacy wasn't built on grand achievements or fame but on the simple, profound act of refusing to give up. It was about the everyday courage to choose hope over despair, action over resignation. Sam often thought back to Elon Musk, not as a distant celebrity but as a catalyst for his own transformation. Elon's fearlessness and refusal to accept limits had challenged Sam's deepest doubts. But ultimately, it was Sam's own determination that fueled his new path. The Tesla had been a tool, a symbol, a spark, but the real power came from within. One afternoon, as Sam polished the motorcycle's gleaming chrome, he reflected on the lessons he wished he had learned earlier in life. He thought of the regrets that still lingered, the opportunities missed, the relationships strained. But rather than dwell in sorrow, he used those memories as fuel, a reminder that time was precious, and every moment counted. He realized that the true legacy he wanted to leave wasn't just a finished motorcycle or viral videos. It was a story. A story that could inspire others to believe that their worth was not tied to age or circumstance. I was never too old, Sam thought, I was just waiting for permission to matter again. And now, he was giving that permission to himself and to anyone who needed it. The days grew shorter, but Sam's spirit remained bright. He continued to explore new passions, to connect with old friends and new faces, to embrace the uncertainty of the future with a quiet confidence. His story was a testament to the power of transformation, a beacon for those who felt lost in the shadow of time. As night fell, Sam looked out at the stars, the same stars that had once inspired his family camping trips long ago. They twinkled with possibility and promise. The chapter of life that he once feared was an ending was now a beginning, a legacy not written in the past but forged in the present. With a contented sigh, Sam whispered, "This is my new legacy. And it's just getting started." Sam never imagined how far his small act of courage would travel, how one choice, to embrace a Tesla and a new way of living, would create ripples beyond his quiet neighborhood. It began with the viral video, yes, but the real change came when people started reaching out to him, sharing their own stories of feeling invisible, left behind, or too old to try. Emails arrived from strangers in other states, messages on social media from people in their 70s and 80s who found in Sam's journey a spark of hope. One message stood out, a woman named Linda from Ohio who wrote, "Watching your story gave me the courage to join a dance class I'd been too afraid to try." Another from Tom, a 72-year-old widower, said, "You reminded me that it's not too late to learn to play the guitar, something I gave up after my youth." Sam realized that his story was no longer just his own. It had become a lifeline, a reminder that the battle against ageism and fear was a shared one. Motivated by this, Sam began to write a blog, chronicling his experiences with honesty, humor, and heart. He shared the struggles of learning new tech, the joy of rediscovering old dreams, and the sting of doubt and loneliness that still occasionally crept in. His posts were raw and real, no sugarcoating, just the truth of what it meant to grow older while fighting to remain vibrant and relevant. The blog quickly gained followers, many of whom found solace in his words. Community centers and senior groups invited Sam to speak, and he traveled to nearby towns, sharing his message in person. Each conversation reminded him of the deep need for connection and encouragement among those who felt left behind. It wasn't just about technology or motorcycles, it was about reclaiming identity and purpose in a society that often forgets the value of experience and wisdom. One afternoon, after a talk at a local library, an elderly man named Harold approached Sam with tears in his eyes. "You don't know how much you've inspired me," Harold said. "I've been stuck, afraid to try anything new since my wife passed. But hearing your story, I'm going to start painting again." Moments like these made all the struggles worthwhile. Sam understood that the ripple effect wasn't about him becoming famous, it was about awakening others to their own potential. His journey sparked a movement of quiet revolutionaries, people refusing to accept the narrative that aging meant decline and invisibility. The ripple extended even to his own family. Martha and Josh began joining him at community events, their pride in their father growing as they saw the difference he was making. Conversations that once were fraught with tension now brimmed with mutual respect and hope. Sam's story softened their skepticism and opened new doors of understanding. As the months passed, Sam was invited to collaborate with local nonprofits focused on senior empowerment and technology access. He helped develop workshops where older adults could learn to use new gadgets and digital tools, breaking down barriers of fear and frustration. Watching these groups embrace change reminded Sam of his own journey from hesitation to action. The ripple effect continued to grow. News outlets featured stories of seniors starting businesses, pursuing education, and engaging in activism, inspired by examples like Sam's. The narrative around aging began to shift, emphasizing strength, resilience, and the power of reinvention. Throughout it all, Sam remained humble, grounded in the simple truth that change starts with one small choice. He often thought back to that quiet moment when he decided to order the Tesla, wondering if he'd had a glimpse of the journey ahead. The ripple wasn't just in the world outside, it was in Sam's heart too. He felt a renewed sense of belonging, purpose, and connection. The fear that once gripped him loosened its hold, replaced by a quiet confidence that came from knowing he was part of something bigger, a wave of transformation sweeping through a generation ready to redefine what it means to grow older. One evening, Sam sat by the fire with Martha and Josh, sharing stories from recent events and messages he'd received. They laughed, debated, and dreamed together. The house, once quiet and filled with echoes of loneliness, now hummed with life and possibility. As the flames flickered, Sam reflected on the journey from despair to hope, from invisibility to impact. He realized that his new legacy wasn't just the motorcycle or the Tesla, but the countless lives touched by the courage to change. And in that realization, he found peace and purpose, knowing that the ripple he started would continue far beyond his own story. Just as Sam felt the momentum of his new life gathering strength, the unexpected arrived. It wasn't a grand catastrophe or a dramatic setback, but a subtle, creeping challenge that threatened to unravel everything he had built. One morning, while preparing to take his Tesla out for a drive, Sam noticed a sharp pain in his chest. It wasn't overwhelming at first, just a tightness that made him pause and breathe slower. The nagging discomfort stayed with him throughout the day, a silent reminder that his body wasn't invincible. At the doctor's office, tests confirmed what Sam feared: his heart was struggling more than before. The cardiologist was clear and cautious. "Sam, you need to slow down. Your heart can't handle the stress. I'm recommending medication and lifestyle changes, and you should avoid anything that strains your system." The words hit Sam hard. After all he'd fought for, after reclaiming his purpose and passion, the idea of stepping back into the shadows again felt unbearable. But the warning wasn't just about physical limits, it was about confronting the fragility of life itself. For the first time since his journey began, doubt crept in with a sharper edge. How could he push forward when his body was telling him to stop? The internal war returned, fiercer than before. The hope that had burned so brightly now flickered under the weight of fear and uncertainty. Friends and family rallied around him, offering support and concern, but Sam felt isolated by the invisible battle within. Even Elon Musk's fearless spirit felt distant, as if the relentless innovator existed in a world apart from the frailty Sam now faced. Yet, amidst the struggle, Sam found unexpected strength. The challenge forced him to reevaluate what progress truly meant. It wasn't about reckless ambition or pushing beyond limits, it was about finding balance, respecting his body while nurturing his spirit. The self-driving Tesla and gaming feature became not just a thrill but a tool for connection and growth without physical strain. Slowly, Sam adapted. He adjusted his routines, embracing gentler forms of activity and prioritizing rest. The motorcycle project paused, but not permanently. It became a symbol of patience and perseverance rather than speed. Sam also leaned into the community he had helped build. Sharing his vulnerability in blog posts and talks, he discovered that many others faced similar battles, aging bodies challenging their dreams and desires. This openness deepened his impact, transforming his journey into a collective experience of resilience. The emotional climax came when Sam stood before a packed hall at a senior center, speaking not just about triumph but about struggle. "Life doesn't always follow the path we imagine," he told the crowd. "Sometimes, the hardest battles are with ourselves. But strength isn't just about what we achieve, it's about how we face setbacks, how we keep moving forward even when the road gets tough." The audience responded with empathy and applause, a reminder that vulnerability was a form of courage. In those moments, Sam realized that his new legacy included not only moments of victory but also the grace to accept life's challenges with dignity. Elon Musk's example wasn't about invincibility, it was about radical persistence, about refusing to let fear define the future. Sam embraced that mindset, understanding that progress sometimes meant stepping back to heal before leaping forward again. The unexpected challenge reshaped Sam's journey, adding depth and nuance to his story of transformation. It was no longer just about reclaiming youth or vigor, but about embracing the whole experience of aging, the joys, the setbacks, and the endless possibilities to grow. As Sam left the senior center that evening, the stars shining above felt closer than ever. They reminded him that even in the darkest moments, there was light to guide the way. The road ahead might be uncertain, but Sam was ready to walk it with courage, patience, and hope, his new legacy unfolding, one step at a time. After the diagnosis and the difficult weeks of adjustment, Sam found himself at a crossroads once again. The pain in his chest had forced him to slow down, but it had also sparked a new determination, not to give up, but to find new ways to live fully within his limits. The motorcycle project was paused, but the spark inside him refused to die. Instead, it shifted, looking for new fuel. One afternoon, as he sat quietly in his living room scrolling through news about Elon Musk's latest ventures, a headline caught his eye: Elon Musk's SpaceX Crew Dragon to inspire new educational programs for seniors. The idea of space, exploration, and innovation, at his age, felt both distant and exhilarating. Could he still learn something new, something bold? The thought ignited a small flame in Sam's heart. He reached out to a local community college that had recently launched a lifelong learning program aimed at older adults. The classes offered ranged from art and music to robotics and technology. Nervous but excited, Sam enrolled in an introductory course on coding and basic robotics. The classroom was filled with people his age and older, all seeking to prove that learning didn't stop with youth. At first, the technical language felt overwhelming, the digital tools unfamiliar and intimidating. But the support from the instructor and fellow students made the challenge manageable. Each new concept understood was a small victory, each successful line of code a reason to smile. The sense of camaraderie grew stronger with every session. Sam realized that this wasn't just about acquiring skills, it was about reclaiming his identity as a learner, a creator, a participant in the ever-changing world. The daily routines of old fears and doubts began to shift. Instead of thinking, "I'm too old for this," Sam started to say, "I'm just getting started." This mindset, echoing Elon Musk's relentless optimism, became his new mantra. He even found ways to integrate the Tesla's autopilot and gaming interface into his learning, experimenting with coding small mods and exploring how technology could enhance quality of life for seniors. The process was both humbling and exhilarating, a reminder that innovation was not exclusive to youth but a lifelong pursuit. Encouraged by his progress, Sam began documenting his learning journey on his blog, sharing not just successes but frustrations and questions. His openness attracted a new wave of readers, older adults eager to break free from stereotypes and try new challenges. The community he had built expanded, blossoming into a supportive network of learners and dreamers. One breakthrough came unexpectedly when Sam participated in a local tech fair, showcasing a simple robotic arm he had programmed to assist with everyday tasks. The demonstration was a hit, drawing curious visitors and sparking conversations about technology's potential to improve independence for seniors. The event was more than a showcase, it was a celebration of resilience and creativity. Sam stood there, surrounded by smiles and applause, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment and belonging. As the weeks turned into months, Sam's confidence soared. The learning ignited new ideas for projects, assistive devices, community tech workshops, and even collaborations with younger innovators eager to bridge generational gaps. His health, while still a concern, improved with careful attention and lifestyle changes. The balance between pushing forward and honoring his body became a delicate dance, one that he navigated with patience and grace. Reflecting on this new chapter, Sam understood that reigniting the flame wasn't about recapturing the past but about kindling a fire that could burn brightly in the present and future. His journey was no longer just about personal transformation, it was about creating opportunities for others to discover their own potential, regardless of age. One evening, as he closed his laptop after posting a new blog entry titled, "Never Too Late to Learn," Sam smiled. The words felt true in a way they never had before. He thought back to the moment he first sat behind the wheel of that Tesla, hesitant and uncertain, and how far he had come. The road had been winding and challenging, but the destination was clear, a life defined not by limitations but by endless possibility. With renewed energy, Sam looked ahead, eager to explore the uncharted territories of his own potential, guided by the example of fearless innovators like Elon Musk and fueled by the unwavering belief that age was not a barrier but a gateway to new beginnings. The morning sun filtered softly through the blinds as Sam prepared for his latest adventure, a day trip with a group from his lifelong learning class. They were headed to a nearby innovation center, a hub where new ideas and technology were tested and developed. For Sam, this was more than a field trip, it was a symbol of how far he'd come since those early days of doubt and isolation. The van ride was filled with chatter and laughter, a mixture of curiosity and excitement among people who, like Sam, were eager to explore new horizons. Arriving at the center, the group was greeted by young engineers and designers who welcomed their visitors with open arms. The atmosphere buzzed with energy, 3D printers humming, robots moving, and ideas flowing freely. Sam's eyes sparkled as he took it all in. The tour included hands-on demonstrations where the seniors could interact with cutting-edge devices. Sam eagerly tried out virtual reality headsets, experimented with drones, and even tested prototypes of assistive gadgets designed to make daily life easier for older adults. Each experience was a revelation, reinforcing his belief that innovation wasn't reserved for the young, it was for anyone willing to dream and act. Throughout the day, Sam found himself engaged in conversations that bridged generations. The engineers listened intently to the seniors' insights and experiences, while the older visitors shared stories of resilience and change. It was a meeting of minds and hearts, a reminder that progress flourished where collaboration thrived. After the tour, Sam joined a workshop focused on developing ideas to improve mobility and independence for seniors. Inspired by his motorcycle project and Tesla adventures, he proposed a concept for a customizable, easy-to-use vehicle interface tailored to the needs of older drivers. The group's response was enthusiastic, and Sam found himself collaborating with a young designer named Maya who was passionate about creating inclusive technology. Over the following weeks, their partnership grew. They met regularly to refine the concept, blending Sam's lived experience with Maya's technical expertise. The project became a powerful symbol of what could happen when generations work together, breaking down stereotypes and building new possibilities. At home, Sam's family noticed the changes too. Martha and Josh admired his energy and commitment, and sometimes joined him in brainstorming sessions or visits to the Innovation Center. The relationships, once strained, now blossomed with shared purpose and understanding. One evening, after a particularly productive meeting with Maya, Sam sat on his porch watching the sunset. The colors painted the sky with promise, a perfect metaphor for the new horizons opening before him. He thought about the long journey from feeling forgotten to becoming a catalyst for change. "I was never too old," he whispered to the dusk, "I was just waiting to see what's possible." The project with Maya gained traction, attracting interest from local businesses and nonprofits eager to support senior-friendly technology. Sam was invited to speak at conferences and community events, sharing not just his story but the lessons learned from collaboration and innovation. His message was clear: the future belonged to those who dared to dream, regardless of age. Through it all, the Tesla remained a steadfast companion, a symbol of possibility and progress. Sam still enjoyed the gaming feature, the self-driving autonomy, but now it was part of a broader tapestry of purpose and connection. The motorcycle, too, was no longer just a project, it was a reminder of resilience, a testament to the power of patience and perseverance. As the seasons changed, Sam continued to explore new interests and deepen old passions. He found joy in teaching coding workshops, mentoring younger innovators, and spending quiet moments reflecting on the path he traveled. The unexpected challenges and victories had woven together into a rich, fulfilling life, one defined not by limitations, but by the courage to embrace new horizons. Looking ahead, Sam knew the road would have twists and turns, but he was ready. With each sunrise, he felt the thrill of discovery and the steady pulse of purpose. Inspired by Elon Musk's example of fearless innovation and relentless curiosity, Sam had become a beacon for others seeking to rewrite their own stories. And as he closed his eyes that night, the possibilities stretched before him like the vast night sky, endless, beautiful, and full of promise. The shift in Sam's life was no longer just personal, it was becoming a movement. The small town where he lived, once sleepy and resigned to the rhythms of aging, began to stir with new energy. It started with his workshops and talks, then blossomed into something much bigger, a community awakening. Neighbors who had long accepted quiet, uneventful days now found themselves inspired to try, to learn, and to connect in ways they hadn't imagined. At the local community center, attendance at Sam's tech workshops grew steadily. People like Linda, who'd taken up dance classes, brought friends who wanted to overcome their own fears of technology. Tom, the widower who had picked up guitar again, now volunteered to help others learn musical apps on their tablets. The atmosphere was electric with possibility. Sam often marveled at how quickly fear and resignation could be replaced with hope and action once someone took that first step. The town library hosted a monthly Innovation for All Ages night, where seniors and younger residents mingled over demonstrations of gadgets, storytelling, and problem-solving sessions. The event became a gathering place where the community's diverse talents and experiences intertwined, breaking down the walls of age and expectation. Sam's partnership with Maya expanded beyond their initial project. Together, they started a mentorship program pairing young tech enthusiasts with seniors eager to learn. The exchange wasn't one-way. Sam witnessed the wisdom and perspective of his peers shaping the creativity of the younger generation, proving that innovation thrived when all voices were heard. Meanwhile, local businesses began adapting, offering classes and services designed with older adults in mind. The town's attitude toward aging transformed from a quiet acceptance of decline to a celebration of ongoing growth and contribution. Sam's own family felt the ripple effects. Martha, inspired by her father's energy, started volunteering to teach digital literacy at the senior center. Josh brought his tech skills to support community projects, bridging the gap between generations. Their renewed relationships, built on mutual respect and shared purpose, were a source of deep joy for Sam. But the awakening wasn't without challenges. Some longtime residents remained skeptical, clinging to old beliefs that aging meant stepping aside. Sam met resistance at times, but rather than confrontation, he offered patience and empathy. He understood that change was a process, and every person's journey was unique. One afternoon, during a town hall meeting, a spirited conversation emerged about accessibility and inclusion. Sam spoke from his heart, sharing stories of his struggles and triumphs, and the importance of designing a community where everyone could thrive. His words resonated, moving many to action. The town council agreed to allocate funds for improving public transportation and technology access for seniors. It was a victory not just for Sam but for everyone who believed in the power of community. The most powerful moments came in everyday interactions: the neighbor who finally tried video calls to connect with distant family, the older couple who joined a yoga class for the first time, the teenager who taught a senior to navigate social media with patience and kindness. These small steps, multiplied across the community, created a tapestry of transformation. As the seasons turned, Sam reflected on how far the town had come. What began as a personal quest had ignited a collective movement, proving that age was not a barrier but a bridge to new beginnings. The legacy he was building was no longer just his own, it belonged to everyone who dared to believe in the possibility of change. One evening, as Sam walked through the town square illuminated by festive lights, he felt a profound sense of gratitude. The laughter and conversations around him were a testament to the power of connection and courage. He thought back to the moment he first hesitated to order the Tesla, to the fears and doubts that once held him captive. Now, those fears were shadows behind him, replaced by a vibrant present and a hopeful future. "We are never too old," he whispered to the night. "We are just beginning." The community awakening continued to grow, a living proof that transformation was possible at any stage of life. And at the heart of it all was a simple truth: when people come together with open hearts and fearless minds, the impossible becomes possible. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? As the community's energy swelled, Sam felt a deep stirring within himself, a call to broaden his vision beyond the borders of his small town. The awakening he had helped ignite was powerful, but he knew it was just the beginning. There were countless others across the country, even the world, who felt forgotten, too old to change, or simply invisible. Inspired by Elon Musk's relentless drive to push humanity forward, Sam decided to take his mission to a larger stage. It started with a simple idea: why not connect senior communities nationwide through technology and shared experiences? With Maya's encouragement and technical know-how, Sam began developing an online platform tailored specifically for older adults. The site would offer interactive workshops, mentorship programs, and forums where people could share stories, ask questions, and find encouragement. The goal was to build a virtual village. A safe, welcoming space that fostered connection and learning regardless of physical distance or mobility limitations. The early days were challenging. Designing an accessible and user-friendly interface required countless hours of testing and feedback. Sam's health sometimes made long work sessions difficult, but his determination never wavered. Each small breakthrough fueled his passion. Meanwhile, the response from the initial beta testers was heartening. People from different states and backgrounds shared how much the platform meant to them, how it rekindled their curiosity, helped them navigate new technology, and gave them a sense of belonging. Sam's inbox filled with messages of gratitude and stories of transformation. As word spread, local organizations and nonprofits began partnering with Sam's platform, providing resources and expanding its reach. The momentum built steadily, attracting volunteers and sponsors who believed in the vision of empowerment and lifelong growth. Sam's blog chronicled the development journey, blending technical insights with personal reflections. Readers followed every step, celebrating successes and offering support through setbacks. The community online felt as vibrant and alive as the one in his hometown. One pivotal moment came when Sam was invited to speak at a national conference focused on aging and innovation. Standing on the stage, looking out at an audience filled with experts, advocates, and seniors from across the country, he shared his story with honesty and passion. "Age is not a limit," he declared. "It's a launchpad for new beginnings. We have the tools, the wisdom, and the courage to redefine what it means to grow older. Together, we can create a future where every person matters, every voice is heard, and every dream is possible." The applause was thunderous. Sam realized that his journey, once a quiet struggle in a small town, had become part of a larger movement challenging societal norms and inspiring real change. Back home, the platform's success brought new opportunities. Sam and Maya expanded their team, incorporating experts in healthcare, education, and technology to ensure the platform addressed the diverse needs of its users. Workshops covered topics from managing chronic conditions with tech, to creative writing, to starting small businesses in retirement. The platform became a hub not only for learning but for empowerment, fostering a sense of agency and hope. Sam's family watched with pride as his vision grew beyond what they had imagined. Martha continued her volunteer work, now integrating it with the platform's outreach, while Josh helped develop apps that made the digital experience even more accessible. Their shared efforts deepened family bonds and created a legacy of purpose and love. Yet, despite the rapid growth and recognition, Sam remained grounded. He knew that true change required more than technology or ideas, it required heart. So, every week, he hosted live chats on the platform, listening to user stories, answering questions, and reminding everyone that they were part of a community that cared deeply. These moments kept Sam connected to the very people his work was meant to serve and fueled his ongoing commitment. The vision expanded again when a foundation dedicated to aging research invited Sam to collaborate on a project exploring how technology could improve mental health for seniors. The research aimed to develop tools to combat loneliness, depression, and cognitive decline, issues Sam had faced and witnessed in others. Working with scientists, therapists, and tech developers, Sam helped shape programs that combined virtual social spaces, mindfulness exercises, and interactive games designed to stimulate the mind and nurture emotional well-being. The initiative attracted funding and media attention, further amplifying Sam's impact. As the platform evolved, Sam never lost sight of the lessons learned along his journey, the importance of resilience, the power of community, and the need to embrace vulnerability as a source of strength. Elon Musk's fearless mindset remained a guiding light, not as an idol to imitate blindly, but as a symbol of what was possible when fear was faced head-on and boundaries were challenged. One quiet evening, as Sam sat in his favorite chair, reviewing user feedback from the platform, he smiled with a profound sense of fulfillment. The path had not been easy, marked by doubt, pain, and setbacks. But through it all, he had discovered that purpose was not about grand achievements alone, it was about the connections made, the courage to try, and the willingness to keep dreaming. Sam closed his laptop and looked out the window at the stars twinkling in the clear night sky. He thought of the countless people now connected by a shared vision of hope and growth. The ripple he had started in his small town had become a wave reaching far beyond what he had imagined. And in that moment, he knew this was only the beginning. New horizons awaited, and with them, endless possibilities for those brave enough to reach. Even as Sam's vision grew and his community expanded, the shadows of doubt sometimes crept back into his mind. It was natural, he reminded himself, no journey toward change was without moments of fear and uncertainty. There were days when his health wavered, when the weight of responsibility felt heavy, and when he questioned if his efforts truly made a difference. At times, critics emerged, those who said the platform was too ambitious, or that older adults weren't interested in technology or change. The familiar voices of skepticism echoed in his mind. Yet, Sam had learned from Elon Musk's example that fear was not a stop sign but a signal to move forward with greater intention. On one such difficult morning, Sam sat by the window, the autumn rain tapping softly against the glass. He thought about the early days when he felt invisible, the loneliness that had almost consumed him. Was he fooling himself now, believing he could create something meaningful on such a large scale? The questions came fast and sharp. But then he opened his laptop and read a message from a woman named Diane, a retired teacher from Ohio. She wrote about how the platform had helped her reconnect with family, learn new skills, and find a renewed sense of purpose after losing her husband. "You remind me that it's never too late to start again," Diane said. Her words pierced through the fog of doubt. It was moments like these, small, personal, profound, that kept Sam going. He realized that the impact wasn't always loud or visible, sometimes it was a quiet transformation happening in someone's heart. To face his own doubts, Sam developed a daily practice inspired by Musk's resilience. Each morning, he listed 3 things he was grateful for and 3 small goals to move forward. This ritual grounded him, reminding him that progress wasn't always measured in giant leaps but in steady steps. He also reached out to mentors and peers who understood the challenges of innovation and aging. Their encouragement and shared experiences offered perspective and strength. Sam's family remained a vital source of support. Martha's unwavering belief in him and Josh's technical assistance were anchors in turbulent times. They celebrated victories together and navigated setbacks with honesty and love. During one particularly rough week, when a technical glitch caused frustration and a media interview went poorly, Sam considered stepping back. But a call from Maya lifted his spirits. "Remember why we started," she said gently. "This is bigger than any mistake or doubt. It's about the people who need this." That conversation reignited his fire. He doubled down on improving the platform, focusing on user feedback and building stronger community features. In the process, Sam discovered another important truth: vulnerability was not a weakness but a bridge to connection. Sharing his struggles openly on his blog and in live sessions encouraged others to do the same, fostering a culture of authenticity and mutual support. The community responded with compassion and resilience, proving that together, they could face anything. As the seasons turned, Sam noticed a shift within himself. The doubts no longer controlled him, they became part of the journey, reminders to stay humble, curious, and persistent. He began mentoring other seniors who wanted to start projects or embrace new challenges, sharing both his successes and struggles honestly. One afternoon, during a workshop, a woman named Grace asked, "How do you keep going when you feel like giving up?" Sam smiled, recognizing his own past question. "I remind myself that change is never easy," he said. "But every step forward, no matter how small, creates ripples that reach farther than we can see. And sometimes, those ripples save a life, including your own." Grace nodded, her eyes shining with renewed hope. Moments like this made every challenge worthwhile. Inspired by his own journey through doubt, Sam collaborated with mental health professionals to develop new platform content focused on resilience and emotional well-being. They created guided exercises, peer support groups, and expert talks designed to help seniors navigate the complex emotions that come with change and aging. The initiative was embraced warmly by the community, further strengthening the platform's role as a lifeline. One evening, after a long day of meetings and coding, Sam sat quietly reflecting on the roller coaster of emotions he'd experienced. He thought about Elon Musk's many public failures and comebacks. The rocket explosions, the financial struggles, the relentless pursuit of a vision despite setbacks. Musk's journey was a testament to the power of resilience, a model Sam now carried in his own heart. He whispered to the quiet room, "I am not alone. This is not the end. It is the next beginning." With renewed clarity, Sam looked ahead to the future with hope and determination. The doubts would come, but so would the strength to face them. And with each step forward, he knew he was helping others do the same. The journey was far from over, but Sam was ready to keep dreaming, building, and inspiring. Because the truth he discovered was simple and powerful: it's never too late to change your story, to rewrite the narrative, and to live a life full of meaning and possibility. Months of tireless work, late nights, and relentless problem-solving had led Sam and his team to a breakthrough moment that would change everything. The platform they had nurtured, refined, and expanded was about to unveil a revolutionary feature designed to connect seniors in real time through immersive virtual reality experiences. The idea had been seeded during one of the community feedback sessions. Users expressed a longing not just for online interaction but for something deeper, an experience that transcended screens and keyboards. Inspired by Elon Musk's ventures into space exploration and neural tech, Sam envisioned a way to bring people together as if they were in the same room, sharing stories, games, and learning opportunities face to face, even if miles apart. The development process had been intense. Collaborating with engineers and VR specialists, Sam helped design an interface intuitive enough for seniors with varying tech skills yet powerful enough to create a vivid sense of presence and connection. When the testing phase began, the excitement was palpable. Early users donned VR headsets and found themselves transported to familiar places, a cozy living room filled with friends, a peaceful park where they could stroll and chat, a bustling community center buzzing with activity. The impact was immediate and profound. One user, Eleanor, who had been housebound due to mobility issues, described the experience as a miracle. She told Sam that for the first time in years, she felt truly seen and heard, her loneliness lifted by genuine interaction. As word spread, the platform's user base grew exponentially. Media outlets took notice, calling it a game changer for senior engagement and mental health. Sam's story, intertwined with the platform's success, became a beacon of hope for aging populations worldwide. Yet, despite the acclaim, Sam remained focused on the people behind the headlines. He spent hours on the platform's live sessions, listening to user stories, helping troubleshoot, and sharing his own journey. The connections he witnessed, between grandparents and grandchildren, old friends reunited, strangers becoming support systems, were the true measure of success. The breakthrough feature also opened new doors for collaborations. Health professionals incorporated it into therapy and rehabilitation programs, educators used it to teach skills in immersive ways, and community groups found innovative ways to celebrate culture and creativity. The ripple effect was extraordinary. Sam's family celebrated alongside him. Martha organized virtual book clubs and art classes through the platform, and Josh helped develop games designed to stimulate cognitive function while entertaining users. Their combined efforts deepened their bonds and underscored the power of purpose-driven teamwork. One unforgettable evening, Sam hosted a virtual reunion on the platform, bringing together members from his small town, new users from across the country, and even a few younger volunteers. As avatars gathered in a sunlit virtual park, stories flowed, laughter echoed, and music filled the air. It was a moment of pure joy and belonging. After the event, Sam reflected on how far he'd come, from a place of isolation and doubt to a catalyst for connection and change. He thought of Elon Musk's words about daring to dream big and defying expectations. "This is what it means to live," Sam whispered, "to reach out, to connect, to build something that matters." The breakthrough was more than a technological achievement, it was a testament to resilience, vision, and the power of community. It reminded everyone that no matter one's age, life could be rich with purpose, joy, and possibility. And as Sam looked to the horizon, he knew this was only the beginning of an even greater journey ahead. With the platform's breakthrough virtual reality feature gaining momentum, Sam found himself facing a new set of challenges, ones that tested not only his leadership but his resilience and vision in unexpected ways. Change, he realized, was never a smooth path. The excitement that had propelled the project now met with complexities that required patience, innovation, and sometimes, hard conversations. One early challenge came from the platform's rapid growth. As more users joined from diverse backgrounds and abilities, the team had to ensure the technology remained accessible and welcoming to all. Some seniors struggled with the VR equipment, feeling overwhelmed or frustrated. Others faced skepticism from family members or caregivers who worried about safety or privacy. Sam and his team responded by creating comprehensive tutorials, offering one-on-one tech support, and partnering with local organizations to provide in-person assistance. Still, it was clear that technology alone couldn't solve all barriers. Another challenge arose from the emotional landscape of change. For many users, the virtual world was a lifeline, but it also brought up feelings of loss, vulnerability, and fear. Some participants missed physical contact, while others struggled with the realization that technology was changing how they connected with the world. Sam addressed these concerns openly during live sessions, inviting experts in grief counseling and social work to join the platform. Together, they developed support groups and resources that acknowledged the complex emotions tied to aging and technology. Meanwhile, internally, Sam faced moments of self-doubt and fatigue. Balancing the demands of leadership, family, and personal health was exhausting. There were times when setbacks, technical glitches, funding hurdles, or negative media stories threatened to derail progress. Yet, he remembered Elon Musk's persistent mindset: failure was not defeat but feedback. This perspective helped Sam reframe challenges as opportunities to learn and improve. He also learned the importance of delegation and trusting his growing team. Letting go of control was difficult but necessary for sustainable growth. Sam encouraged open communication and fostered a culture where everyone's ideas and concerns were valued. This approach strengthened the team's cohesion and creativity. Outside the digital realm, societal attitudes towards aging and technology remained a persistent obstacle. Despite the platform's success, ageism and stereotypes about seniors' capabilities continued to influence policy, media, and individual behavior. Sam used his platform to advocate for change, partnering with advocacy groups and speaking at public forums. He emphasized the value of seniors' experiences and the importance of inclusive innovation. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The community's stories and successes challenged misconceptions and inspired broader conversations about aging in the 21st century. One significant turning point came when a major tech company invited Sam to collaborate on integrating the platform's features with their emerging products. The partnership promised to amplify the platform's reach but also required navigating corporate bureaucracy and aligning visions. Negotiations were complex and sometimes frustrating, but Sam remained steadfast in protecting the platform's mission and user-centered values. Throughout this period, Sam found strength in personal connections. His family remained a constant source of encouragement and grounding. Martha's enthusiasm and Josh's technical support reminded him that he was not alone. Their shared commitment to the cause deepened their relationships and inspired new ideas. Maya's friendship and partnership were invaluable, offering both professional expertise and emotional support. As the platform matured, Sam also dedicated time to mentoring others facing similar challenges. He shared lessons learned about resilience, leadership, and balancing ambition with compassion. His story became a source of inspiration for entrepreneurs, caregivers, and seniors alike. Reflecting on the journey, Sam recognized that the challenge of change was an ongoing process, one that required flexibility, empathy, and courage. It was not about achieving perfection but embracing growth through every twist and turn. In quiet moments, he often thought back to the moment he first saw Elon Musk's words about defying limitations. Those words had sparked a fire that burned through fear and inertia. Now, that fire fueled a movement, lighting the way for countless others to step into their own power. The challenge of change was real and daunting, but it was also an invitation to rise, to innovate, and to connect. And Sam was ready to answer that call every step of the way. As Sam's platform continued to grow and evolve, its impact began to ripple far beyond the initial community he had imagined. The stories pouring in from users across the country painted a vivid tapestry of transformation, resilience, and newfound purpose. It was no longer just about technology or innovation, it was about reclaiming identity, rewriting narratives, and building a legacy that defied age and expectation. One such story came from Walter, a retired mechanic in rural Tennessee who had felt isolated for years after losing his wife. Walter shared how the platform's virtual reality meetups had reignited his passion for learning and connection. Through an online workshop on restoring vintage cars, he reconnected with old friends and found new ones who shared his love of craftsmanship. The joy in Walter's voice moved Sam deeply, proof that even small sparks could ignite profound change. Another story came from Rosa, a former schoolteacher in Florida who had struggled with depression after her children moved away. Through the platform's mindfulness programs and peer support groups, Rosa rediscovered hope and strength. She began leading a virtual book club that connected seniors from diverse backgrounds, bridging cultural gaps and creating friendships that transcended geography. These individual transformations built a powerful collective energy. As more users shared their journeys, the platform became a repository of wisdom and inspiration, a living archive of what it meant to grow older with courage and curiosity. Sam saw the ripple effect in the engagement and enthusiasm that fueled new ideas and initiatives. Local governments and nonprofits took notice, integrating the platform's resources into community centers, libraries, and healthcare programs. Funding increased, enabling further development and outreach. Universities invited Sam to speak about aging, technology, and social innovation, and researchers used the platform's data to explore new approaches to mental health and social connection in later life. The ripple effect extended to families as well. Children and grandchildren who had once viewed aging with apprehension began to see their elders in a new light, vibrant, capable, and full of life. Sam received heartfelt messages from younger generations expressing gratitude for the platform's role in bridging gaps and fostering understanding. This intergenerational connection became one of the platform's most celebrated outcomes. The success inspired Sam to expand his vision even further. Collaborating with international partners, he worked to adapt the platform for different cultures and languages, spreading the message that age was not a limitation but a source of strength worldwide. The journey was not without challenges. Cultural differences, technological disparities, and funding complexities required patience and adaptability. Yet, the shared human desire for connection and purpose transcended these obstacles. Through it all, Sam remained humble and grounded. He often revisited the small-town home where it all began, drawing strength from memories of his own struggles and triumphs. The lessons learned along the way, the importance of resilience, community, and authentic connection, remained at the heart of his work. One afternoon, during a visit to a local senior center, Sam was approached by a woman named Linda, who told him, "You gave me my life back." Her eyes glistened with tears as she recounted how the platform had helped her overcome isolation and rediscover joy. Moments like this reminded Sam why the ripple effect mattered, that every life touched was a seed planted in a garden of hope. Reflecting on the journey, Sam understood that the ripple effect was both a result and a catalyst of change. Each connection, each story, each moment of courage contributed to a larger movement that challenged societal assumptions about aging. It was a testament to the power of one person's vision to inspire many and the strength found in collective transformation. As he looked to the future, Sam felt a deep sense of gratitude and responsibility. The ripple effect was far from finished. It was an ongoing wave, growing stronger with every new voice and every new story. And in that wave, he saw the promise of a world where age was celebrated, purpose was embraced, and every person had the chance to shine. After years of tireless work, unexpected setbacks, and inspiring breakthroughs, Sam stood at the edge of a new horizon, one that promised fresh opportunities and challenges, yet carried the same core mission that had ignited his journey from the start. The platform was no longer just a project, it was a movement, a lifeline connecting seniors with technology, community, and renewed purpose. But Sam knew that growth was never a destination, it was a continuous evolution, and this new phase required courage, vision, and the willingness to embrace change once again. One morning, as sunlight streamed through the window of his home office, Sam received an invitation that sparked a surge of excitement and nervous anticipation. A major international conference on aging and innovation had asked him to deliver the keynote address. It was a moment of recognition, not just for him, but for the community he represented. Preparing the speech, Sam reflected on the incredible journey. The lonely days of doubt, the spark inspired by Elon Musk's fearless mindset, the small choices that led to a revolution in senior engagement. He knew the story needed to be honest, raw, and hopeful. On the day of the conference, standing before a diverse audience of policymakers, technologists, caregivers, and seniors, Sam shared the heart of his mission. He spoke of the power of resilience, the importance of connection, and the undeniable truth that age was not a barrier but a bridge to deeper meaning. He recounted stories from users like Walter and Rosa, illustrating how technology, when designed with empathy, could transform lives. His words resonated deeply, sparking conversations and commitments across sectors. Following the speech, Sam was approached by leaders from government agencies and global nonprofits eager to collaborate. They proposed initiatives to integrate the platform into public health programs, address social isolation on a wider scale, and fund research into aging and technology. These partnerships opened doors to resources and influence that Sam had only dreamed of. But with greater opportunity came greater responsibility. Sam and his team faced tough decisions about scaling, maintaining the platform's integrity, and ensuring that the user experience remained personal and empowering despite expansion. They adopted new governance structures, involved community representatives in leadership roles, and doubled down on transparency and ethics. Meanwhile, Sam's personal life flourished alongside his professional achievements. Martha's health improved, and their renewed closeness became a source of joy and balance. Josh's career blossomed as he continued to innovate behind the scenes. Maya's ongoing partnership and friendship provided both inspiration and strength. Together, they navigated the complex dance of ambition and care, growth and grounding. In quieter moments, Sam often revisited the words that had first ignited his transformation, the daring mindset of Elon Musk that defied limits and embraced failure as a path to success. He realized that this mindset was not just for billionaires or tech visionaries, it was for anyone willing to dream big and act boldly, no matter their age or circumstance. Looking out over the horizon from his small-town porch, Sam felt a profound sense of peace. The journey had been arduous but meaningful. The challenges ahead were real but manageable. The future was bright. Not because it was without difficulty, but because it held the promise of continued growth, connection, and impact. He whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning." The new horizon beckoned, not as an end, but as a vast landscape of possibility waiting to be explored. And with every step forward, Sam knew he was not alone. The community, the movement, and the ripple effect would carry them all into a future defined not by age, but by purpose, passion, and unyielding hope. As the platform gained national attention and the partnerships multiplied, Sam faced what would become the most pivotal moment in his journey, a moment that tested everything he had built, believed in, and fought for. The stakes were high, the pressure intense, and the outcome uncertain. This was the crucible where dreams met reality, and only through courage and clarity could a new chapter begin. It started with an unexpected data breach that compromised the personal information of thousands of users. Although no financial harm occurred, the news spread quickly, shaking trust in the platform and sending ripples of fear through the community. Sam was devastated. Years of hard work threatened to unravel in an instant. He knew that how he responded would define not just the platform's future, but the very legacy he hoped to leave. Immediately, Sam called an emergency meeting with his team, cybersecurity experts, legal advisors, and community leaders. Transparency was their first priority. He drafted a heartfelt public statement acknowledging the breach, taking full responsibility, and outlining steps to secure the platform and support users. Sam personally reached out to affected users, offering assistance and open lines of communication. The crisis was not just technical, it was deeply emotional. Many users felt vulnerable and betrayed. Sam held virtual town halls, listening patiently, answering questions, and demonstrating the platform's commitment to accountability and improvement. These conversations were raw and difficult, but they also became an opportunity for connection and healing. Throughout the ordeal, Sam drew strength from the lessons he had learned from Elon Musk's example of facing failure head-on. Musk had famously weathered public scrutiny and setbacks by maintaining relentless focus, openness, and a willingness to adapt. Sam embraced those qualities, determined not to let fear or shame dictate his response. Behind the scenes, the team worked tirelessly to upgrade security measures, conduct audits, and implement new protocols. They also invited independent experts to review the platform's practices, further reinforcing their commitment to safety and ethics. As weeks passed, the community began to rally around the platform with renewed support. Many expressed appreciation for the honest communication and the steps taken to protect their privacy. Sam's leadership during the crisis earned respect and deepened trust. The moment of truth had revealed vulnerabilities, but also resilience and unity. The experience transformed Sam's approach to leadership. He realized that transparency and empathy were as critical as innovation and technical skill. Trust was fragile and precious, built over time but easily broken. Protecting it required constant vigilance and humility. This ordeal also sparked new ideas for the platform's evolution. Sam and his team developed enhanced educational resources focused on digital literacy and privacy, empowering users to protect themselves online. They created community-led safety councils and feedback channels, ensuring that users had a voice in shaping the platform's future. Through the challenge, Sam grew both as a leader and as a person. He learned to embrace imperfection, to welcome difficult conversations, and to lean into vulnerability as a source of strength. These lessons deepened the platform's culture and set a new standard for what it meant to build a community rooted in trust and respect. One evening, after a long day of meetings and outreach, Sam sat quietly reflecting on the journey. He thought about the moments of doubt, the breakthroughs, the ripple effects, and now this trial. Each experience had shaped him and the platform, weaving a story of perseverance and purpose. He realized that the moment of truth was not a single event, but an ongoing process, a commitment to facing reality with courage and compassion. As he looked ahead, Sam felt ready for whatever came next. Because he knew that no matter the challenges, the mission remained clear: to empower seniors, to build connection, and to prove that it's never too late to change, to grow, and to matter. With that conviction, Sam whispered into the quiet room, "This is our time." The moment of truth had passed. Now, the new chapter could begin. With the platform's recovery well underway and trust gradually restored, Sam found himself reflecting deeply on the true meaning of impact. It wasn't just about numbers or headlines, it was about lives touched, hearts opened, and barriers broken. The gift of impact, he realized, was the ability to create ripples that changed not only others but also oneself. The stories that streamed and continued to inspire him. There was Harold, a widower in Kansas, who had once felt invisible and forgotten, now leading virtual storytelling nights that connected generations. Grace, a former nurse in Ohio, who used the platform's health tools to regain strength after surgery and inspired others to do the same. Every message was a reminder that behind every profile was a person, a universe of experience, hope, and untapped potential. Sam's own transformation was intertwined with these stories. The man who had once doubted whether he could make a difference now stood at the center of a vibrant community, one that transcended age and geography. He realized that the greatest gift of all was the connection forged through shared purpose and mutual empowerment. This understanding deepened his commitment to nurture and expand the platform's reach. He championed new features designed to foster creativity and learning: virtual art classes, music therapy sessions, and intergenerational mentorship programs. He encouraged partnerships with libraries, museums, and cultural institutions to bring enriching experiences to seniors everywhere. Behind every new initiative was a dedication to honoring the dignity and diversity of aging. The platform also became a powerful tool for advocacy. Sam worked alongside organizations fighting ageism, mental health stigma, and social isolation. Their combined efforts raised awareness and influenced policy changes that improved resources and protections for seniors. The gift of impact was not only personal but systemic. Through it all, Sam maintained a grounded humility. He knew that success was not the product of one person but a collective endeavor. The platform's growth was fueled by the dedication of his team, the courage of users willing to share their stories, and the support of allies across sectors. Celebrations were tempered by gratitude and a recognition of the work still ahead. One poignant moment came when Sam received a letter from a user named Clara, who wrote, "You gave me permission to dream again." Her words echoed a sentiment Sam had heard many times before, a testament to the transformative power of belief and encouragement. It reminded him of Elon Musk's philosophy that breakthroughs often come from daring to imagine what others think impossible. As the platform continued to evolve, Sam also invested in mentoring the next generation of changemakers. He shared his journey openly, emphasizing that age was not a limitation but a wellspring of wisdom and experience. His story inspired others to pursue their passions, challenge norms, and create meaningful change. The gift of impact was a legacy of empowerment. In quieter moments, Sam reflected on his own family's journey, the healing of old wounds, the strengthening of bonds, and the creation of new memories. The platform had not only changed lives across the world but also transformed his own. He realized that the gift of impact was deeply personal as well as universal. As he prepared for the platform's upcoming anniversary event, Sam felt a profound sense of fulfillment and hope. The journey had been long and sometimes arduous, but the destination was clear, a world where aging was celebrated, connection was abundant, and purpose was limitless. Standing before the audience at the anniversary celebration, surrounded by users, partners, and loved ones, Sam spoke from the heart. He thanked everyone for their courage, trust, and commitment. He reaffirmed the mission and invited all to join in the ongoing journey of growth and connection. The gift of impact, he said, was something we all carried within us, the ability to change lives, including our own. As the event concluded, Sam looked out over the crowd. The faces of those whose lives had been transformed and those just beginning their journey. In that moment, he understood that the greatest gift was not the platform itself, but the community it had created, a living, breathing testament to the power of hope, resilience, and love. And as the lights dimmed and the celebration continued, Sam knew that this gift of impact would continue to grow, ripple outward, and inspire for generations to come. Sam stood quietly in the softly lit room where the platform's anniversary celebration was winding down. Around him, laughter and conversation filled the space, a symphony of voices united by a shared journey of transformation and hope. He felt a swell of emotion, a profound gratitude for how far they had come, and a deep awareness that this moment was both an ending and a beginning. The path that had started with a single spark, a simple decision to embrace change despite fear and doubt, had grown into a movement that redefined what it meant to grow older in America. As the crowd gradually dispersed, Sam took a moment to reflect on his own story. He remembered the days when he had felt invisible, trapped by regrets and physical decline, unsure if he had anything left to offer the world. Those feelings had seemed like a prison, but now he understood they were merely a chapter in a much larger narrative. The new legacy was one of empowerment, connection, and resilience. It was about the courage to step into the unknown and the willingness to embrace imperfection as part of the human experience. In those early days, the words of Elon Musk had ignited a fire inside him, a belief that limits were meant to be challenged and that age was not a barrier but an asset. That mindset had carried him through doubt, failure, and hardship, transforming not just his life but the lives of thousands. Sam's thoughts turned to the community he had helped build, the users whose stories had inspired and humbled him, the team whose dedication made the vision real, and the families whose bonds had been healed and strengthened. Their collective courage was the foundation of this new legacy. Looking ahead, Sam saw endless possibilities. The platform would continue to evolve, embracing new technologies and expanding its reach. But its heart would remain the same. To honor the dignity of aging, to foster authentic connection, and to create spaces where everyone could find purpose and joy. He thought about the words he wanted to leave behind, not just as a founder or a leader, but as a fellow traveler on the journey of life. "I was never too old," he would say, "I was just waiting for permission to matter again." Those words carried the weight of experience and the promise of hope. They were a call to action for anyone who had ever felt left behind or forgotten. As the night drew to a close, Sam stepped outside into the cool air, gazing up at the stars. The vastness of the sky reminded him of the limitless potential within each person, regardless of age or circumstance. He felt connected, to the past, to the present, and to the future. The new legacy was not just his, it belonged to everyone who dared to believe that life's greatest adventures could happen at any stage. With a steady heart and a hopeful spirit, Sam walked forward, ready to face whatever came next. Because the journey of transformation never truly ends. It only opens new doors. And through those doors, the light of purpose and possibility always shines. As the glow of the anniversary celebration faded into memory, Sam found himself standing at a new threshold, one that felt less like a finish line and more like an invitation to explore uncharted territory. The journey that had transformed his life, and the lives of thousands, was far from over. In fact, it was evolving in ways he had never imagined, pushing him beyond the horizon of what he once thought possible. The platform had grown into a powerful force for connection and change, yet Sam knew its true potential lay in the future, waiting to be unlocked by curiosity, courage, and innovation. One crisp morning, as sunlight filtered through the trees surrounding his small-town home, Sam sat at his kitchen table, a steaming cup of coffee in hand, pondering the next chapter. He thought about the millions of seniors still disconnected, still searching for purpose, still wrestling with the doubts and fears that had once nearly held him back. How could he reach them? How could technology, community, and the human spirit come together to create a world where aging was embraced as a vibrant and dynamic stage of life? The answer came in the form of a bold idea, one that blended emerging technologies with the timeless need for human connection. Sam envisioned an immersive experience, a digital landscape where seniors could explore, learn, create, and connect in ways that transcended physical limitations. Virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, tools once seen as the domain of the young and tech-savvy, could be harnessed to create joyful, meaningful experiences tailored specifically for older adults. Excited by the possibilities, Sam reached out to a group of innovators, technologists, and community leaders to collaborate on this ambitious project. Together, they began to build what they called the Horizon, a virtual space designed to inspire exploration and foster connection across generations. The Horizon would offer everything from virtual travel adventures to creative workshops, social gatherings to health and wellness programs, all accessible with intuitive interfaces designed for ease and accessibility. The project was ambitious and challenging, pushing the boundaries of what Sam had learned about leadership, technology, and human nature. There were moments of frustration, technical glitches, funding hurdles, and skepticism from some corners, but Sam's resolve remained unshaken. He often remembered the early days when a single spark of inspiration had transformed his life. That spark now fueled his vision for a future where no one was left behind by age or circumstance. As development progressed, Sam made a point to involve users every step of the way. Seniors from diverse backgrounds tested prototypes, offering feedback that shaped the design and features. Their enthusiasm and creativity fueled the team's energy and reminded everyone of the project's deeper purpose. One afternoon, during a virtual reality demo session, Sam watched as a group of seniors from different states explored a recreated version of New York City's Central Park. Laughter and gasps of delight filled the room as they marveled at the trees, the ponds, and the changing seasons, experiences some had not enjoyed in years. The power of technology to bridge distance and physical barriers was tangible, but what struck Sam most was the renewed spark in their eyes, a glimpse of joy, curiosity, and belonging. Meanwhile, the platform's community continued to thrive. New features encouraged users to share their own stories, mentor younger generations, and collaborate on creative projects. Intergenerational programs flourished, breaking down stereotypes and building bridges of understanding and respect. The Horizon was not just a digital space, it was a catalyst for real-world connection and transformation. Sam also saw the project as a way to address deeper societal issues. Loneliness, ageism, and the invisibility that many seniors experienced. By creating spaces where older adults could shine as teachers, learners, creators, and leaders, the Horizon challenged outdated narratives and celebrated the richness of life's later chapters. In quiet moments, Sam reflected on his own journey, the fears, the doubts, the moments of breakthrough, and how they had shaped his vision. He understood that transformation was not a destination but a continuous process, one fueled by curiosity, openness, and the courage to embrace the unknown. The new horizon was limitless, a canvas waiting for bold strokes and bright colors. As the project gained momentum, Sam found himself invited to speak at conferences, universities, and community events about aging, technology, and the power of connection. His story, once a deeply personal journey, had become a beacon of hope and inspiration for others navigating the complexities of growing older in a rapidly changing world. One memorable event brought together elders, technologists, and policymakers to discuss the future of aging. Sam shared not only the successes but also the struggles and setbacks, emphasizing the importance of resilience, empathy, and inclusivity. The dialogue sparked new collaborations and commitments to creating age-friendly innovations that honored dignity and diversity. Through it all, Sam remained deeply connected to his roots, the small-town home, the friends and family who had supported him, and the lessons learned along the way. He knew that no matter how far technology advanced, the heart of the mission was always about people. About connection, purpose, and the unyielding human spirit. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, Sam stood outside with Martha, watching the sky glow with soft hues of orange and purple. They spoke quietly about the journey, its challenges and triumphs, and the promise of what lay ahead. Martha squeezed his hand and said, "You've created something beautiful, Sam. A legacy that will keep growing long after we're gone." Sam smiled, feeling the truth of her words. He thought about the countless lives touched, the friendships formed, and the hope rekindled. The new legacy was not just a platform or a project, it was a movement of hearts and minds, reaching beyond the horizon into the future. As night fell, Sam felt a profound peace. The journey was far from over, but the path was clear. With courage, curiosity, and compassion as his guides, he was ready to explore the endless possibilities that lay beyond the horizon. Because aging was not an end, it was a beginning. A new frontier filled with promise, discovery, and the enduring power of the human spirit. And in that truth, Sam found his greatest inspiration yet. The morning light spilled gently through the window, casting warm hues across the room where Sam sat quietly, his hands resting on the keyboard of his laptop. The world outside was waking up, birds chirping, leaves rustling in a soft breeze, neighbors starting their day, but inside, Sam was immersed in a moment of profound reflection. The journey he had embarked on years ago, sparked by a single moment of doubt and inspired by Elon Musk's fearless mindset, had grown into something far greater than he had ever imagined. And yet, as he typed the opening words of a new blog post, he realized the journey was far from over. It was, in fact, just beginning again. Sam's story was no longer just about personal transformation, it was about a movement, a wave of change sweeping across communities of older adults reclaiming their power, their purpose, and their joy. Each story shared on the platform, each connection made, was a testament to the resilience and spirit of a generation too often overlooked. He recalled the early days when fear and uncertainty threatened to hold him back. The nagging questions, is it too late? Does anyone care? What's the point? Had nearly silenced his dreams. But a single spark had ignited a fire, and that fire had illuminated a path for thousands who felt lost in the shadows of aging. Now, as he looked ahead, Sam felt a renewed sense of clarity and commitment. Technology, community, and heart had combined to create a space where age was not a limitation but a launchpad for new adventures. The Horizon Project was expanding, with virtual reality experiences that brought laughter and wonder to users confined by distance or health. Intergenerational mentorship programs were blossoming, bridging gaps and breaking down stereotypes. Seniors who once felt invisible were now leaders, creators, and changemakers in their own right. Sam smiled as he remembered a recent video call with a group of seniors painting together from living rooms scattered across the country. The joy and creativity radiated through the screen, a reminder that connection transcended physical boundaries. Yet, he also knew the work was ongoing. Challenges remained: accessibility, digital literacy, and the persistent shadows of loneliness and ageism. But the platform and its community had proven that with determination, empathy, and innovation, these barriers could be dismantled. As Sam finished his blog post, he included a call to action: if you're reading this, know that you matter. Your story matters. Your dreams matter. Together, we are rewriting what it means to grow older. Hit subscribe and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. Let's keep this conversation alive and vibrant. The response was immediate and heartfelt. Messages poured in from across the country, stories of struggle and triumph, of new friendships formed and old wounds healed. Sam read each one with gratitude and awe, reminded again that the journey was shared by millions who refused to be defined by age. One message stood out, a note from a woman named Joan, who had recently lost her husband and felt adrift in grief and isolation. She wrote that reading about the platform had given her a reason to hope again, a reason to reach out and connect. That message became a catalyst for Sam to launch a new initiative focused on grief support and emotional wellness, recognizing that healing was a vital part of the journey for many. Sam's days were full, meetings with his team, conversations with community members, and collaborations with organizations dedicated to aging well. But he also carved out time for quiet moments of reflection and connection with Martha, whose unwavering support had been a cornerstone throughout. Together, they explored new places, tried new hobbies, and celebrated the beauty of the present moment. Their journey was a living testament to the power of love, resilience, and shared purpose. In the evenings, Sam often returned to Elon Musk's words, the reminder that failure was a necessary step on the path to success, that boldness and persistence could overcome even the greatest obstacles. Those lessons continued to inspire him to dream bigger, reach further, and lead with humility and courage. The platform's impact rippled outward, influencing policy discussions, inspiring innovations in healthcare and community design, and challenging society's perceptions of aging. Sam was invited to speak at conferences, universities, and civic forums, sharing not just technology solutions but stories of human transformation and possibility. Each engagement reinforced his belief that the future of aging was bright, fueled by empathy, creativity, and a refusal to accept limitations. One crisp autumn day, as Sam walked through a local park with Martha, he noticed a group of seniors gathered under a pavilion, engaged in a lively discussion. Approaching them, he recognized several users from the platform, their faces animated with excitement and camaraderie. They welcomed him warmly, sharing updates about their lives, new projects, and dreams yet to be realized. In that moment, Sam understood the profound truth at the heart of his work: the journey was never about technology alone. It was about people, their stories, their connections, their unwavering spirit. The journey continues because life itself continues, with its challenges, joys, and endless possibilities. And with every step forward, Sam knew he was not walking alone. He was part of a movement, a growing community of seniors, families, and allies committed to rewriting the narrative of aging, one story at a time. As the sun set behind the trees, painting the sky with brilliant colors, Sam felt a deep sense of peace and purpose. The road ahead was full of promise, and he was ready to embrace it with open arms and an open heart. Because the journey continues, always onward, always upward, beyond the horizon. And in that endless journey lies the true legacy, a legacy not of endings, but of beginnings. The morning sun rose gently over the quiet town where Sam had built his life and his vision. The air was crisp, carrying a faint scent of pine and freshly brewed coffee from nearby homes. Sam stood by the window, watching the world wake up with a sense of calm anticipation. The platform he had nurtured was now more than just a community, it was a movement, a beacon for those who refused to be defined by age or circumstance. Yet, even with all the progress, Sam understood that embracing tomorrow required more than innovation and technology, it demanded a mindset of openness, courage, and relentless hope. As he prepared for the day, Sam reflected on the lessons of the past. The doubts, the setbacks, the moments of quiet despair that had once threatened to derail his journey. He remembered the pivotal moments when Elon Musk's fearless philosophy had sparked a fire within him, the belief that boundaries were meant to be challenged, that age was not a prison but a launching pad for new adventures. Those ideas had fueled his resilience and shaped the platform's mission to empower seniors across the nation. Today, Sam was set to lead a workshop titled, "Embracing Tomorrow, the Power of Possibility at Any Age," aimed at inspiring seniors to dream boldly and take action. He knew that many would arrive carrying their own fears and doubts, questions about relevance, about health, about whether the future held space for them. His role was to offer not just strategies but a vision that illuminated the limitless potential within each person. The room filled gradually with familiar faces. Some seasoned users of the platform, others newcomers curious about the promise of connection and growth. There was Mrs. Lee, a retired teacher rediscovering her passion for writing, Carlos, a veteran learning to navigate virtual reality to reconnect with family overseas, and Edith, who had recently lost her husband but found solace in the community's support. Their stories were varied, but their yearning for meaning was shared. Sam began by asking a simple yet profound question: what does tomorrow look like to you? Hands hesitated at first, then slowly, stories began to flow, dreams of travel, of creating art, of mentoring younger generations, of healing old wounds. The room buzzed with energy as each person saw their own hopes reflected in others' words. He shared his own story candidly, the fears he had faced, the moments he had thought it was too late, and the small choices that had led to transformation. He emphasized that embracing tomorrow was less about erasing the past and more about building on it, using experience as a foundation for new growth. Throughout the workshop, Sam introduced practical tools, goal-setting exercises, ways to build supportive networks, and ideas for integrating technology to enhance daily life. But the heart of the session was the encouragement to lean into discomfort, to see uncertainty not as a threat but as a gateway to discovery. He reminded them that Elon Musk's journey was marked by failures and setbacks, yet it was his relentless pursuit of possibility that made the impossible real. After the workshop, many lingered, sharing personal reflections and questions. Sam listened attentively, offering guidance and empathy. He noticed the subtle shifts. A woman who had seemed withdrawn now spoke animatedly about joining a local art class. An older man expressed excitement about trying a new fitness routine. These moments, though small, were powerful affirmations that the seeds of change had taken root. In the days that followed, Sam received messages from participants describing their first steps toward embracing tomorrow: a hike in the nearby hills, signing up for a creative writing group, reaching out to an estranged sibling. Each message was a reminder that transformation was a continuous, deeply personal journey. The platform's forums buzzed with renewed energy as users shared their progress, challenges, and triumphs, fostering a culture of encouragement and shared growth. Sam also reflected on the importance of community in this journey. He understood that individual courage was vital, but collective support was what sustained change. The platform's success lay in its ability to create safe spaces where seniors could be vulnerable, ambitious, and connected. These virtual connections often blossomed into real-world friendships, volunteer projects, and collaborative ventures, reinforcing the power of belonging. One evening, as Sam and Martha walked along a quiet trail near their home, he shared his vision for the future, a future where aging was celebrated as a time of possibility, where technology and human connection intertwined seamlessly, and where every individual felt empowered to shape their own story. Martha listened with her usual quiet strength, reminding him that the true essence of embracing tomorrow was love, the love we give ourselves and the love we share with others. Their conversation was interrupted by the distant sound of children playing and the soft chirping of crickets, a reminder that life's rhythms continued beyond the challenges and triumphs. Sam felt a deep gratitude for the journey so far and an eager anticipation for what lay ahead. He knew that embracing tomorrow required ongoing courage, curiosity, and compassion, not just from him but from everyone who chose to believe in possibility. Back at the platform headquarters, Sam's team was busy developing new initiatives inspired by user feedback. There were plans for expanded wellness programs, virtual travel experiences, and collaborative storytelling projects that connected seniors with younger generations. The vision was evolving, driven by the community's needs and dreams. Sam also recognized the importance of advocating for systemic change. He engaged with policymakers and organizations to promote age-friendly policies, access to healthcare, and digital inclusion. The movement was gaining momentum, shifting cultural perceptions and breaking down barriers that had long limited older adults' opportunities. As weeks turned into months, Sam's own journey continued to unfold. He faced new challenges, balancing growth with sustainability, navigating technological complexities, and addressing the diverse needs of a growing community. But each challenge was met with the same resilient spirit that had carried him from doubt to hope. One morning, Sam received an unexpected invitation to speak at a national conference on aging and innovation. The opportunity was both thrilling and daunting, a chance to share the platform's story on a larger stage. Preparing his speech, he focused on the core message: embracing tomorrow is about seeing age not as an end but as an invitation to explore new horizons, fueled by purpose, connection, and courage. On the day of the conference, standing before a diverse audience of leaders, caregivers, and seniors, Sam felt the weight of responsibility and the excitement of possibility. He spoke not just about technology or programs but about the human spirit, the spark that refuses to dim, the courage to dream anew, and the power of community to transform lives. His words resonated deeply, sparking conversations, collaborations, and commitments to continue the work of reimagining aging. The platform's story became a symbol of what was possible when vision met action, and when fear was met with boldness. Returning home, Sam felt both humbled and energized. The journey of embracing tomorrow was a shared adventure, one that invited everyone to participate with open hearts and minds. He knew there would be obstacles ahead, but also countless moments of joy, connection, and discovery. As the seasons changed, Sam and Martha continued to embrace each day with gratitude and hope. Their life together was a testament to the power of love and partnership, the foundation upon which all meaningful journeys are built. Late one evening, as Sam sat by the fireplace, he reread a letter from a user named Grace, who had written about finding new purpose through the platform after years of isolation. Her words reminded him why the journey mattered, not for accolades or achievements, but for the lives touched and the hope ignited. He closed his laptop and looked out at the stars, feeling a profound sense of peace. The path ahead was bright and filled with promise. Embracing tomorrow meant honoring the past, living fully in the present, and daring to dream boldly about the future. With a steady heart and a spirit open to possibility, Sam whispered to himself, "The best is yet to come." And in those words lived the true essence of his journey, a journey that continues for all who dare to embrace tomorrow. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?